pandemic has certainly changed our world. Learning how to stay connected and distanced is a challenge. Miami University has chosen Cisco WebEx as a tool to bridge this divide. This video is about your home studio and connection to the internet for WebEx. In this, we're going to explore your connection itself. Is it adequate for this? Next, we're going to explore the software and hardware needs. And finally, we're going to take a look at what makes a studio. First, connectivity. There are many factors that affect the quality of the signal coming from your studio. Fortunately, WebEx provides a network test for us, making it much easier to determine whether you've got what you need. To do the test, you'll need to use Firefox or Chrome as a web browser. You'll find a link at the bottom of this video in the description that will take you to WebEx's test site. When you've completed the test, you'll get a report on your connection and is it strong enough. If you fail the test, you may find that your Wi-Fi connection is the problem. You might try connecting your computer directly to your modem with an Ethernet cable. If that doesn't work, contact us and we'll see what we can do to help you. Now let's talk about the software. Since WebEx is web-based, a good browser is basically the only tool that you actually need. Again, Firefox and Chrome are the recommended ones for this. First time you do that, you'll probably be directed to a download for an app. Go ahead and do that. It makes the whole process a lot smoother. You're going to need a camera. Specifically, you need a webcam. That's a camera that's designed for web applications. If you have a laptop, an all-in-one, a smartphone, or a tablet, you already have what you need. They're built into those devices. Otherwise, you're going to need to purchase a webcam. You could also look into a document cam. This is a special camera that focuses downward. Good for using with objects that you want to share. You can manipulate those objects. You can also show images from a book. You can have a piece of paper there and write on the paper, and that will show up on your screen as well. Could be a very useful tool depending on what your needs are. The next thing is a microphone. Fortunately, microphones are built into webcams. Unfortunately, those same microphones pick up all kinds of sounds around you, so your studio needs to be a quiet place. You can mitigate some of that by having a personal mic. This is a mic that's actually attached to you. It has a very limited range. If you have a tablet or a smartphone, you'll probably already have what you need. The earbuds in those contain microphones. You could purchase a headset separate. Just make sure that it includes a microphone. Lavalier mics can be used. Just make sure that they have the connectivity for your particular device. Lighting. Lighting is important because it affects how you look on the screen. General rule, you want the lighting source to be from behind the cam. You want to avoid light from behind you, that is backlighting. Don't have your back to a window. Avoid, say, a lit lamp. Anything that is going to create light is going to be a poor background for you. You want that light to be natural or warm. Fortunately, the LED lights like you see there, that particular one in the picture happens to be a circular one, but they don't have to be that way, can be a very good source because you can control not only the intensity of the light, but you can control the temperature of the light, making it warmer. If you use a window as your backlight, as your lighting source, make sure it's filtered. Don't use direct sunlight. Avoid using Venetian blinds. Those can put streaks on your face. Avoid fluorescent lighting. Another source of problem can be the actual screen itself, particularly if you've got a lot of white on that screen. I've found that turning to dark mode can mitigate some of that. If you don't know what dark mode is, go to Google, find out what it is and what it takes to set your computer to dark mode. The position of the camera is important. As a general rule, you want it to be about 18 to 30 inches from you. Have it set at about your eye height. If you have a desktop computer, then mount your webcam on top of the monitor. That's pretty close to the right height. If you have a laptop or you're using a tablet or phone, you need to position those so that they are up higher. The laptop that you see pictured here is actually just set on top of books. What's underneath it really doesn't matter because that's not going to be seen by the audience. There's one word of question though. I recently had a meeting and I put my laptop on top of a cushion to get it elevated. About 15 minutes into that, things started going wrong and I discovered that the laptop had overheated. When a computer overheats, it attempts to compensate it by slowing the processing down, and that can play havoc with your presentation. Your presence on the screen, you should have your eyes about a third of the way down from the top. And you want to be roughly centered from left to right. Now, those are general rules. You can play with that a little bit. What you want to avoid is having your chin, say, on the bottom of the screen or your forehead cut off. Finally, what's behind you? That is, what's the background? Don't let plants give you a bad hair day. You love your children, you love your pets, but you may not want them in your presentation. Many people use bookcases for their background, and that's fine. What you do want to avoid is having a very cluttered bookcase. So simplify it as much as you can. You don't want the audience to be trying to figure out what's on your shelves, maybe trying to figure out what books you're reading and not paying attention to what you're actually saying. And as a general rule, keep it simple. Doesn't have to be stark, but keep it simple. When you're ready to test your studio setup, you want to create a free WebEx account for yourself. This account will not be used for the actual presentation, but it will afford you a practice site. There's a link below to set up that account. One final thought. This pandemic has forced us to think outside the box. And as Mario Cuomo once quipped, there is no box. Online classrooms are a reality that we must accept. In learning the how-tos, we're going to make mistakes. We all do that. Don't lose sleep over it. We'll get through this.